Hi everyone and welcome to my kitchen. We recently uploaded a short video on how to make flour tortillas with butter and you guys loved it. So we decided to make a video where we can explain more in depth each and every step. So let's get started. This recipe only has 5 ingredients: 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 5 tablespoons of unsalted melted butter, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 cup of warm water, plus more if needed. So in the bowl we have the flour, add in the baking powder, the salt, and mix that in. Once well incorporated, add in the melted unsalted butter, and this is going to give us a nice, rich, and creamy flavor. Mix that in. Then gradually add in the warm water and mix. Make sure all of that dry flour is incorporated and moistened. Transfer your dough onto a clean, non-stick surface. So I'm using my stainless steel table, and see how my dough has no form, it's tacky. We're gonna fix that by kneading for about 5 minutes. This is the point where you may feel tempted to add all-purpose flour, but let's not do that. By kneading it, we're building the structure that we need. If we add any more flour, I'm afraid you could easily dry it out, and that's how you end up with hard tortillas. As you can see, the dough is barely sticking to my hands. My hands are actually clean. We're gonna keep going for maybe another minute or 2.
Seems like something relaxing to do.
It is. I actually love this part. But look at that. It is smooth, still moist, and very soft. This is exactly what you want. Now let's mold it into a ball. And all I'm doing is tucking the sides and kind of tightening the ball as you rotate. Now take a look at the before and after. As mentioned, it did take me about 5 to 6 minutes to get to this point. If it takes you a little bit longer, maybe a couple of minutes, it's fine. But just be careful not to overknead because you can dry it out. Now, with a bench scraper, cut it into 8 3-ounce balls.
That does look relaxing, even by looking at it. Hold on, let me do one. Like marshmallows.
He gets to do the easy job.
I had to do it.
A little bit uneven, but okay.
Hey.
Now, mold them into little round balls and just tuck the sides as you rotate. It's gonna make that little ball tight. Or you can roll it on the table, set it aside, and just continue doing the same thing with the rest. Place the dough balls on a non-stick surface. I'm using a sill pad. And rub softened butter in between your hands and cover them completely to prevent them from drying out. By the way, this is unsalted butter. Cover them with plastic wrap and we're gonna let them rest for 30 minutes. This part is very important because have you ever had an issue when you roll them out and they shrink back up again? Well, that's because you didn't let them rest. This process actually relaxes the gluten. So we need to allow them to relax, have a moment for themselves. I'll see you in 30 minutes.
30 minutes later.
Time's up. Let's roll those tortillas. I'm gonna set them to the side and lightly flour the surface. We're gonna do the rolling pin as well and the top of the dough ball. Okay, I got carried away with the flour. Maybe just a little bit less. And just roll. Starting from the center, going outward, rotate, keep doing the same thing. Make sure you leave them really thin. These are about 11 inches in diameter. See, they're kind of transparent. You can see my hands through the dough. Set them aside so that I can roll the rest of them. If needed, you can also dust a little bit of flour under them. All the tortillas are rolled and there's possibly flour everywhere. I'm amazed I didn't get flour on Nelson.
Close to.
I like to make them all at once because it allows the already made ones to rest while I continue making the rest. Okay, let's head to the stove. We have to preheat that comal. Come on. All right, two things. As you can see, I have my mini portable gas stove out because even though I own an electric stove, I like the results the gas stove gives me because I feel like the heat is more consistent and encourages that puff on the tortillas. And I like to use a non-stick comal because I feel like it distributes that heat really well. Preheat that comal to medium high. It has to be really hot. As soon as that tortilla hits the surface, it needs to start cooking. The comal is screaming hot. Let's get that first tortilla we rolled and gently place it on top. You should start to see those bubbles begin to form. It'll take about 15 to 20 seconds. And this tortilla is kind of like the trial one because you'll get a feel of how much heat you need. You need to lower it, you need to increase it. Oh, look at those bubbles. Flip it. Leave it for another 15 to 20 seconds. It should start to puff. If you need to use a spatula, use it because we're working with hot air bubbles, so be very careful.
That's a good point.
Sure is. All right. Now flip it and leave it for another 10 seconds. We want the tortilla to be fully cooked. And look at that puff.
That looks like a soccer ball now.
I guess it was not so much of a trial. All right, I'm gonna transfer it with a spatula because this one's pretty big. Place it onto your dish and look at that beauty. You can see the texture is very soft. Place it in the middle of 2 or 1 really large kitchen towel. That way the heat stays enclosed and they remain very soft. Now let's cook the rest, and you do want to cook them in the same order that you made them. As the tortilla cooks, it will develop some beautiful golden brown spotting on both sides and puff. If you're in the process of learning, remember, practice makes perfect. This is my moment of victory. Oh my goodness, come on, Nelson. Now, because of my condition, I can't have them. I've made them plenty of times, have tasted them. Nelson loves them, so he's gonna sacrifice himself. Let's spread a little bit of butter. This is something I learned from you guys because the way we used to have them is with a side of a atole, which is a Mexican hot beverage.
Kind of like champurrado, right?
Yes, we would roll them and then kind of dip it in there or just take a sip, bite into the tortilla. You know what I mean? Look how pliable these are, how soft.
Give it.
I'm like teasing him with a tortilla this whole time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So nice and soft. I can already taste it.
Give us your opinion, your expertise. I'm a little jealous.
It's soft, smooth.
Flaky. I would call them flaky. Oh.
Almost like eating a croissant.
I like that. I mean, it could be like a Mexican croissant.
I'm learning.
Well, don't forget to hit that like button, and also you can follow me on all of my social media platforms. All right, until the next one.